Hey, what up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon, and I am joined finally in video by my beautiful partner and co-host.
Hey y'all, it's Deandra.
Welcome to The Buffet, a podcast where we give you endless food for thought.
So we started this podcast to review the questions that we've asked and continue to ask each other since we started dating. Our conversations are going to range. Sometimes they will be deep. Sometimes they will be lighthearted. Sometimes they will be spicy. But we both have backgrounds in counseling and are now officially based in Houston. Yeah. And we know just enough to come up with the questions, but not necessarily all the answers. So join us. We will be real, raw, and sometimes spicy.
Welcome to The Buffet. All right, babe. So, first episode of the month. We told y'all we was going to come back in July. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to beautiful Deandra, she made sure that it happened during the first official week of July. Because I was like, as long as it happens anytime in July, we get money. She was like, nah, you're going to go in the beginning. I was like, you know what? Okay, let's get it in. Mm-hmm. So, first video. Bear with us as we get used to this, but we here bringing y'all that fuego fire. Mm-hmm. That being said, What's our first topic? What are we talking about today, babe?
So if you listen to the last episode or last two episodes in June, we did start a new segment called The First Plate. And with this segment, we want to take the opportunity to find something on social media or in the good Beyonce's internet and be able to share that with y'all. And so I'm going to play a clip that I found on the Instagrams that I thought was really interesting and I want us to be able to discuss.
This concept y'all have of doing absolutely nothing for y'all significant other is...
You know what I think is crazy? That we have gotten to a point in society where telling women that if your man is loving you, honoring you, cherishing you, respecting you, and just to reciprocate what he's already doing is a form of being a pick-me. Telling women to keep your hands off your man is a form of being a pick-me. Anything that goes against the mainstream idea that men ain't ish and men don't deserve anything because they're men is a form of being a pick-me. A lot of y'all need to pick a damn therapist and figure out why you guys act and think the way you do. A lot of these men go into these relationships with all risk and no reward. A lot of you women think it's a as he should type of thing and not thinking that this man and what he's doing is optional. He's doing it because obviously he cares, loves you, or whatever. But y'all favorite line is as he should. That's all they get. Making his plate is somehow a form of modern day slavery. So when these men are opting out of dating and marriage, y'all looking crazy. Sick.
Thoughts, babe.
She ain't wrong. I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. I think she's speaking little facts, but I think she's shooting bullets of facts at people. Now people getting hit right now. Got hit with. I can only imagine what the comments are saying underneath it, but yeah, I think there's a lot of facts in what she said.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. I do think that there are a lot of facts in what she said. I think the first part of it talks about this pick me phrase.
Yeah,
which I have heard and have never been able to walk away with a clear definition of what it is outside of women who use the term as a derogatory term. Mm-hmm. That's it. If you're a pick me, it's a negative thing. But I guess the thing that is unclear to me is that I guess the part of it that makes sense to me is a pick me is a woman who is abandoning her individuality and her identity in order to be selected by a man. So whatever she's doing, however she's behaving, the opinions that she have, all are for the benefit of the male gaze and to receive approval from men.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think that's what they're trying to use. I think that's what the definition of a pick me is supposed to be. I did, with the quick Googles. They're saying a pick me is someone that deliberately exhibits behavior that attempts to appease others, most often the opposite sex, whilst acting as if they're completely unaware that this is what they're doing, even though they definitely are. Yeah, so I think I feel like they're using the pick me for anything in which like if you agree with the opposite on the other side about anything, you're being pick me. If you have the audacity to be like, you know, like they're, you know, we're not doing something right, or, you know, trying to hold themselves accountable and be like, yo, I want to be able to do more things that my partner would like. You know what I'm saying? Like I do things that my partner likes me to do. Oh, you are pick me. Like you. So I feel like the term pick me has been used as a slur or slander towards any person, specifically women here, who are have the audacity to actually want to make their partner happy.
Yeah. I think that sometimes it's a shot at more people than it is intended to be a shot at. I do think that there is a line that can be crossed into pick me territory, but I do think that the way that it is currently used is like what you said, anyone who is doing anything that is for the benefit of their partner, that brings their partner joy, that requires a certain level of self-sacrifice, like anything like that. Like in the video she says, which I was on my phone trying to find her name. I could not find her name. It was a video. What are they called? Remixes, reaction, collaborations. When it's split screen and it's one person responding to the reacting.
Yeah, doing the
reaction.
Videos?
Yeah, it was a reaction video. The reaction video was from a repost from another person's page, so I couldn't find the original creator. So shout out to you, homegirl, because clearly you got some good sense. But in the video, she talks about how nowadays women will equate making a man's plate to modern day slavery, and I think that that's dramatic. I think that there are women who don't want to do that, and that's okay. You get with a person who also doesn't want you to do that. I think where we run into a problem, and this is what she says in the video as well, is like where women are like, he should do everything for me. There should be all risk, no reward on his end, and he should just be happy to be in my presence, and that should be enough.
Me and my grace is all they need. Yeah. So yeah, the pick me is used for if a woman wants to reciprocate anything that they expect a man to provide for them, you are pick me. Yeah. So it's like, man got to, like you said, got to do X, Y, and Z. And then woman's like, okay, cool. I want my man to do X, Y, and Z. In return, I'm going to do these things that they want me to do. You will fucking pick me.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
It's a little wild to me. It's a lot wild to me because
it's giving bitter. It's giving bitter.
I don't think that is giving bitter. I mean, I think that it could lead you to being bitter if you are a person who, in a lot of ways, does not reciprocate. But this is the thing. I think that like women who buy into the images of women who are independent and I guess like recycle men isn't the word that I want to use, but like women who are able to take care of themselves and treat having a man as a bonus. The ideology there is like, well, when she does get a man, she doesn't have to do anything for him because she can take care of herself. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, she already has it all. Once she gets a man, that's just an addition to her life. Her life is already full. She already has it all. And when she gets that man, she's not going to do anything for him because he's lucky to be there.
Okay, I see that.
But in reality, like, okay, let me give an example because I feel like my train of thought wasn't fully fleshed out. Cardi B in WAP says, I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me show you how I got this ring. The following week, Offset has a video of her sweeping their house. And he's like, but you don't clean though.
Yeah.
It's an image, y'all. It's an image. Like, lest we forget that this woman is from a Dominican and Trinidadian background, in which there are very traditional roles that women hold.
Big facts.
And while she may believe some of the things that she says and maybe even enact some of those things in terms of wanting to be independent, you don't it's a lot of work to rewire your brain in that way and not believe that that's true, because you come from a place, a culture where it's traditional for women to serve men, where it's traditional for women to be housekeepers and like homemakers. And I don't think that it's realistic to say that you undo all of that because of the society that you're in now. Maybe you project some of those things, but I don't think you let all those things go.
But here's the thing. I don't think that's our society. Like, that's not our society. Like, that I don't cook, I don't clean. That's not society. Like, that doesn't hold up in society. Like, a woman who's talking about something, like Cardi B said, I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me show you how I got my ring. She is not married.
She's
that
married.
that woman that woman is not married for long. Like saying that I don't do this for a man. Like what realistically, what man is going to want to marry that?
The man who does that himself. So I think that there's a space for those women to exist. I just think that you are choosing a difficult path. So like if you marry a man who is interested, a janitor, and he wants to come home and clean too, you're not a good cook, but you marry a chef, he wants to come home and cook too, it can work.
Okay,
I'm not saying
sure.
that it's impossible, but I think that if you...
Wait. My fault. Go ahead, continue. I don't want to cut your train of thought off. I'll come back to you.
But if you believe that you don't have to do anything in a relationship, regardless of if it's cooking or cleaning, if you believe that you don't have to do anything in a relationship, you're going to be hard pressed to be in a relationship because it's not going to work.
There we go.
Two selfish people can't be in a relationship, or you can't both be selfish in the same way because it's not going to work.
There we go. Okay.
Is that what you were thinking?
Pretty much. I was like, yeah, you can't not clean. You can't not cook.
And not do shit else.
Do shit else. You can't do nothing.
Yeah.
You cannot do maybe one, maybe two of those things. Mm-hmm. Like you don't like to cook. Cool, we get it. Everybody, some people can't boil water. So you know what I mean. It's like I get it. That's not your ballywick. Partner takes care of that. But you can't. You got to make up for that deficiency in some other way. So the person, because this could be men and women, but since we're on this topic, we're talking about women specifically, or the woman who can't cook, clean, or do any of those things that a man finds valuable, whatever that man finds valuable.
Yeah,
they not getting wifed up by that man.
True, and that's where what it comes down to, in my opinion, is like, who is the man that you want to be with? Not who is the man that you think that you want to be. Well, who is the man that you need to be with? Because maybe the man that you want to be with is a man who is of a certain status and who will expect certain things of you as a woman in return, and you're not willing to do those things. So that's not the person that you need to be with, because it's not gonna work. Y'all can't both be selfish about the same things and then expect for it to work. Okay. What are you thinking?
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. So want and need. So what a woman needs could technically the same as what they want. Let's say we have a woman who has a good idea of exactly what they need from a man, and they list what I need, but they don't want to do shit. Regardless if you know what you need, if you're not willing to do anything in order to get that, you're not going to get that. Even if you have like realistic expectations, if you're not willing to do anything, that person is not going to want to be with you because they're not getting anything from it. So am I explaining that right?
I think I get what you're saying, but I do think that there's unhealthy relationships. There's relationships in which people are being mistreated or manipulated. But I guess I'm diverging.
We're not talking about abuse and stuff like that, because like that's not the norm.
Well, I wasn't thinking abuse. I'm just thinking of like imbalanced relationships where there really is one person who gets to be 100% selfish and doesn't have to do anything.
Those exist, I guess, but like, are they long term? Like, are those the relationships in which we are addressing? Like, are those like the over there relationships?
Fair.
Because I'm talking the 80. I'm speaking to the 80%. Though the average Joe Schmo, Joe Jane, whatever, the regular people that's the regular people, like, that you want to get in a relationship and you want like a little bit of reciprocity, going on. There has to be reciprocity. Like, there is no healthy relationship in which reciprocity is not a thing.
Fair.
Now, if you want to go to where like all you gotta do is show up and look beautiful and your life is taken care of, that's a over there relationship. That's not over here relationship.
True. Fair. So I guess what you're saying is that those relationships are in the minority.
Yes.
And so including them in the conversation, it just dilutes the conversation. It doesn't actually aid the conversation.
No. So and the issue is like the people who in the over there relationships trying to come over here and trying to make it sound like it should be over here relationships. Like, no, you need to be over there.
Yeah.
We over here. This is how we get down. This is the general consensus. This is how we move. And they were like, no. If they can't do this, then if you can't do what I'm asking for, then you over there. Like, no. That's not how this works. And I think that's what a lot of people got it fucked up at. So it's like, yeah, over here we got general standards and expectations, and this is what it is. Reciprocity is a big part of that. And if you're not about that, like you first of all, you're automatically putting you in like a small in the very minutia of like possibility of getting that, which means you got to be over there. Good luck to you, but good luck.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that leads really well into our question for today. So we wanted to talk about how social media has changed our expectations of the opposite sex, specifically, I think, in relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, this is the main course.
Yeah.
Social media has social media changed expectations? And what was that second part, or like behavior?
How has it changed our expectations of the opposite sex, specifically in relationship? I can get us started.
Go ahead.
I think and maybe this is just because it's the easiest thing to show on social media, but I think that there is this very apparent like gifts have to be your love language kind of thing happening, because it is a lot of lavish, big extravagant things when it comes to holidays, when it comes to birthdays, when it comes to anniversaries. There is a overwhelming kind of display of grandeur, and often it is gift based. And so I think that like the expectation is that like I would assume for a man that the expectation is you get your girl a gift, she's going to be happy. Or like you get your girl a gift, you got to record her reaction to the gift, and she better be happy and or cry in order for it to be something. Yeah. And then the other part of it is that like as a woman, when something comes up, a holiday, a special occasion, you should expect grand displays of affection and attention.
Who?
As a woman, you should expect that.
Yeah. I thought you was like 10 what the man should be expecting. I was like,
no, I ain't never seen nobody do nothing. Yes. Well, let me never say never.
I've seen a couple.
I don't often see.
Yeah, I've seen a couple, but it was like very tasteful and like cool and shit like that. But to your point, I guess I have a small shift in perspective in the sense of like you say that men have to go do extravagant things and then the woman better cry and things like that. So I think that the expectation is not necessarily on the woman to cry, but I think the expectation is that the gift that the man gives has to be so extravagant that the woman has to cry. Like not like it has to be so fire, so fuego, so like out the world that the woman is overcome with emotion. And if she doesn't, that means the man didn't do a good enough job. And I think that is oversaturating social media and making it seem like gift giving is the only love language that women respond to. And while it is cool, my experience has been that like it's not that, it's like they like gifts. I ain't gonna sit here and like, they like gifts. I like it. But the extravagance of it is not. They don't like the big grand shit, which is, it's cool. You can do it, but like it does not override like the small shit. Like they like, a small token of affection or a small, like you thinking of me type situation. But at the same time, there's plenty of women who don't really fuck with gifts like that. They, it's like 4 other love languages. A lot. It's a lot of time. I find that there's not enough emphasis on how much value women place on time what's the exact phrase of it? I can keep that thinking valuable time, but that's not
Quality time.
Quality time. There we go. Jesus, I don't know why that. Yeah, quality time. If anything, should be more prevalent in these videos that they show. But how do you video quality time? It's gonna be just gonna be this video of just two people just hanging around.
Yeah, I will say that's what I was thinking. Like, if I'm someone listening to and or watching this podcast and being like, they got it wrong, the first thing that my retort would be, well, how do you even videotape these other love languages? Why do we have to videotape it at all? Let's start there. Let's start at why is it a necessity to share these moments that are intimate or can be intimate or are designed in some regard to be intimate because they're shared between two people who love each other? Why do those things have to be recorded? And where is the line then? Like, if we're recording our gift giving and we're recording our childbirth and we're recording, like, where is the line for what we don't share publicly? And we've already talked about this. I'm not really a fan of sharing too much of my business. I mean, we talk on this podcast, so you know some of my business, and clearly you seeing me right now, so here you go. But that's it.
That's true.
That's it.
I doubt we'll do any kind of day in the life of type shit. I mean, unless it's Chet Fat, but yeah. But yeah, so that goes into another way in which I guess I would say social media has like impacted relationships. Based off the gift giving, it has placed a very large emphasis and pressure on men to make enough have enough resources in which to provide lavish gifts to women. So now we see Offset give a fucking Bentley, give Bentley to Cardi B, and suddenly all women's like, I need this. If you're not coming with this type of energy, then don't even come at me at all. So it's like, my nigga, since when did Bentleys become like a symbol of love, the baseline of love? So I think seeing so much of these extravagant things popping off, we start getting a warped perception of what it takes in order to do these things.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that
it cheapens it, really. Because like a Bentley is it is a very large ticket item that 99% of people can't afford. So, but to hear you tell it, everybody driving these bitches. Like, why can't you get a Bentley? Why can't you just drop $250,000? Mm-hmm. Like,
I mean, I think the baseline for that is probably like lower than that. Is probably something designer. I think that is maybe a little bit more of a baseline expectation. You should be buying someone designer clothes, designer bags, something in order to establish yourself as caring for them.
You ain't dropping a check on somebody just on a random Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you brought flowers. You just bought a dozen. What? That's it?
Yeah, you should fill my apartment with flowers. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't ask me how you get. Yeah, and pay the rent.
Yeah.
I got a high rise. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In fact, give me the apartment that's fully furnished, and then fill it with the roses. Yeah, and then give me that whole thing paid off. By the way,
for the whole year.
Yeah, 5.
Ooh.
And keep paying it after we break up.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely what they want. And don't have no keys here, or you don't need to know the code to get in through the door if it's a smart home.
Get in, do what you need to do, and then forget everything about how you got in until I invite you back and pretend like it's my place and I bought it. I'm being a little facetious.
Very, I hope. I hope no one's living like that. I mean, get your money, boo-boo. On the flip side, do what is best for you. I'm not here in a space where I feel like I want to pass judgment on people. I just want to be an observer and offer thoughts about what I'm observing. Right. Like, do what you want to do. If that is what feels best for you, if that's what's going to work best for you, go ahead, live your best life. As for me, and as for the people that you're influencing who cannot do that, let us humble ourselves and ground ourselves in the reality of the situation that we are currently in. By that, I mean, these gifts, If your man can only afford McDonald's, he's not buying you a designer bag, sis.
Like, where your man is at financially.
You do.
Like, if you're really with them, like, there's no reason why you shouldn't know ballpark about where they are financially and what they can and cannot provide, what they can and cannot do. Same thing for men for women. So to expect your man who, is first year teacher in, I don't know, side town, North Carolina, making $28,000 a year, and you talking about some, where is my goddamn Chanel purse bag, outfit, all that joint. It's gonna take him a little bit to get that, if at all.
If at all.
If at all. That's if at all.
At all.
It's like you want him to pay for that, or you want him to, or he can just pay your rent for a year. You could pay our rent for a year.
Right. Or we could invest. Let's find an asset.
I wish it was a switch here. So I'm like, you see these lights going on and off? It's me, baby. You're welcome. But do you have any more thoughts on the woman's side? I want to get onto the this is the unrealistic expectation that women have on men because of social media is just the finances and just like the grandiosity of
Not a word.
It is today.
All right.
Of the expectations of what you're going to have to provide for and be able to do everything for a woman. On the flip side, there's also the expectation of what men have for women and what the perception of it. Now, every woman need to look like a Kardashian now. Every woman got to have that fat ass, got to have the titties on, like, right underneath their chin. You know what I'm saying? Got to have the face perfectly symmetrical and, all this stuff like that. So there's a lot of women out here, that's going, taking flights to foreign countries and coming back, having to sit on their stomach on the plane and shit because you can't sit on their ass for a while. It's just BBLs and all this stuff. So, there's been consequences on both sides, and really the losers really is just the relationship. Men and women are both fucked up in the game, and they both coming in here having these out of bounds expectations, and no one can stay together, can get together. No one get together. No one is qualifying anymore. So everyone has these outside of norm expectations that everyone is disqualified immediately. So now suddenly ain't no good niggas out here. Suddenly ain't no good women out here. Excuse me. Suddenly there's no good men out here. Suddenly there's no good women out here. I was like, what happened to them? So what happened?
They never existed.
Yeah, so now all of them are either gay, they already married, or they too old, or they in jail. I
don't know that I feel that's true. I think
that's true. I know it ain't true. I'm saying that's what the prevailing sentiment is. That at least what I'm hearing from online, and all the women are just complaining. Ain't no good men out here. A lot of men complaining. All these women out here trifling.
That's true. I think that definitely is a part of the dialogue. There are definitely people on both sides saying that what they're looking for is not available to them on the marketplace or in the marketplace. What I'm saying is, from my experience, there are people who look good on paper available on the marketplace. It's just once you get to know them that they ain't what they were supposed to be hitting for. I don't think that to me, and maybe this is because I don't care about some of those external things that, like, status, stuff like that doesn't really mean too much to me. I want you to be able to take care of yourself for sure. And I want to know that given the opportunity, you'll take care of me to whatever extent you can. But anything additional is additional, and what you've worked hard for. Like, I don't think that I have the rights to, like, come in and demand what you've already worked hard to establish for yourself. Now, if you offer it, that's something different. But I don't feel like I have the right to come in and demand what you have already worked hard for yourself, because I wasn't there. I didn't work hard for it.
She's mine, y'all.
However, I do think that when you're on the dating scene, when you're on the market and you're looking at people, the thing that I feel like I came across more often than not was, like, people who were shallow, people who were not, like, ready and willing to be in a relationship, and so they were just going to be on the market, like dating around until, I don't know what they were expecting to happen, but like dating around until whatever happened.
Till something changed.
Yeah, until something changed, but not expecting that change to have to occur within themselves. Just like if and when something happens.
I think most people move through dating in a sense, like waiting to meet this mythical someone that's going to unlock something with them that's going to make them good and make them want to be in a relationship. I hear, I'm sure you heard that, a lot of like, I'll do this, I'll do this on condition that, I'll be a wife once I meet my husband type situation.
Yes. But you know what? I think that also has some origins on social media. Yeah. I can clean this up. I can erase all these pictures. The internet isn't forever. I can do whatever I want to do on here right now.
It's cognitive
and then erase it all. What does it matter who I used to talk to or what I was doing on Instagram? I can wipe all that clean.
No, you can't. No,
that's the past, baby. It's not me right now.
Well, I
can make wholesome content. I can flip this whole Instagram.
I can quit whenever I want.
I can quit
whenever I want.
I can quit whenever I want.
That's definitely cognitive dissonance. Because I don't get how there's anybody from our generation, like millennials and newer, who grew up with this technology, knowing what it is and what it can do, to turn around and be like, yeah, it doesn't matter what I present online or what I present, to the public. I can always just flip that switch and no one's going to know. It's like, bruh, how do you counterbalance those two notions of you knowing how social media works because you were there as it was built and you helped build that foundation, to be like, yeah, all those things don't apply to me. I'm the exception.
Delusions.
Over there you go.
Delusions. But I think what you said already is interesting. Like, I'll be a wife when it's time for me to be a wife. Do you think that someone can present themselves as a viable partner via social media? Like, I don't know, like declare or show that they would be a good girlfriend, boyfriend, partner on social media? They
probably could. But if you were on social, there was a profile or something like online, and they providing like wholesome content, you're like, oh, that make a really good. Does that sound like they'll be a real good wife or a good partner or a good husband or whatever it may be? But they not. That's a red flag. Like, so it's like if you present yourself as a good X, Y, and Z, like it'd be real easy for the right dude to be that you'll come across that person relatively quickly, and then be. Maybe not married, but you at least be in a serious relationship. Like, you've been doing this kind of for 3 years and you still single? Come on, son. Like, but I'm seeing that you have all the. So there's something not.
But math ain't
math.
Yes,
the math ain't math.
But wait, these women who are like femininity coaches and your girl with the red hair on the on the YouTubes, a white woman, her hair is reddish. She did the video with the other girl with the ring. Boy, you don't be remembering nothing.
Wait, when you tell me something, there was a white woman with red hair that was on YouTube. Tell me who that name is. What you saying?
The context of the video was she was in the car with a small Latina woman who showed her ring.
Pearly thing. Pearly.
Yeah, her. Did she got a man?
I don't know. Actually, I don't watch enough of her content. No, but last I checked, I think she's single currently. Mm-hmm. But the Latina woman in which she's speaking to,
she's married. I remember that. Mm-hmm. But I guess I was saying that to say that, like, there are definitely women.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
Who are in the, I don't know what I want to call it, who are active. So. Mm-hmm. Active on social media, who present themselves in a way that they are providing advice to other women about how to attract or retain men, or about the mindset that you need to be able to attract or retain men, and then ain't got no man themselves. Are in their which social media, in their marketing of themselves, do you think that would be attractive to men?
Maybe. Well, maybe not them specifically, but maybe like the archetype of them would be attractive. Like, I like what you're saying, I like how you say it, I like your demeanor. I may not necessarily want you specifically who's saying it, but I like a woman who would act like that. But like, I would still say that it would be kind of unusual to not be in a relationship if you are
making relationship content.
Yeah, making relationship content, and you are presenting yourself as like a serious contender, as like a person that a man would want. So it's like, then why are you not with anybody? I mean, so it's be like if I'm out here making content about how to be the best NBA All-Star player, but I'm not in the NBA. Like, sure, I may have good content, but why aren't you in the NBA? Like, that's what gives you that extra oomph. Just like the woman who gives you that femininity stuff, the woman who tell you about, you know, how to move within a relationship respectfully and things of that nature, and then she's in a serious relationship and or married, that adds that extra validity to what you're saying. So it's like, because I have the results that you're here for. I'm not. I don't want to take advice about how to get rich or how to get money or invest by a motherfucker who's broke. Like, you may be giving me the right information, but why aren't you? You're telling me all this good information. Why aren't you rich? Why don't you have the thing that you're telling me I want to get?
Bless her.
So like, I'm not discounting those people who are talking like that and have really good information, but they're single. I'm just saying that if you weren't single, if you were in a relationship and you continue to speak like that, it would add an extra level of validity to what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't disagree, or I agree with what you're saying. I feel like I don't disagree means that you're about to say something that means that you disagree. I do agree with what you're saying. I do think that it adds an additional layer of validity. A
significant layer of validity.
But I also think that it adds, at least to me externally, an additional layer of pressure to that relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
Because how can you then come back and say that I made a mistake, you know, or this transpired in my relationship and now that relationship has ended. I mean, I guess you say it and you say like, you know, I made these mistakes and don't do what I do, and then you're able to rebrand in that way. But I think that like that for me is a part of the reason that anti is a strong word, but that I'm not pro sharing everything on social media, because you do have to share everything, or like you have to you put yourself in a position where the more that you give, more narrative that you provide for other people, the more you open yourself up to opinion, the more you open yourself up to critique. And then the only way to regain that control is to share more of the narrative, to direct it in a way that is, you know? Sure,
I guess. That's what happens when you try to, I guess, curate a specific type of experience to people. But if you was giving them the real, like I would say, like, I would, like, when you tell them like these are some of the, like, if you for us, for example, we talk about relationships, like things you should be looking out for, things you would talk about, how to address, like, you know, negative like conflict, and which implies that conflict is natural within the relationship. And then let's say Lord forbid we don't work out. We can be like, hey, we had this conflict. We tried to work it out. We did X, Y, everything we could without necessarily telling them exactly what it was. We decided, you know, we would part ways respectfully, and then we're moving on and, you know, living our life. People recognize that, like, every relationship does not mean it's going to be successful. We never said that, you know, our relationship was perfect. We never said that our relationship didn't have its trials and tribulations, or that you should not expect to have those within a healthy, solid relationship. So I think it's kind of still on brand, because you're still going to behave. Maybe you learn something within that relationship, and then you may have changed and be like, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I recognize. You know, this is what I thought before. Now that I know, this is what I'm moving with now. And you can still be you. Like, you don't have to be on some like expose, I wasn't living the life that I was showing type situation. It's just like, I'm human and shit happens, and, you know, that's good. It sucks, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Welcome to real life, my people. I mean, but that's just my opinion.
I don't think social media is real though, and I think that's a part of the problem that I have with it. Is like, a
lot of social media isn't real.
Yeah, a lot of it is curated. You have the opportunity to make a decision about what you will share versus what you won't share, and so, I mean, I guess harping back to the original question, like, how does it influence things? we come away with unrealistic expectations because you only see the highlight reel of these people's lives. You only get to see the lavish gift giving. You don't get to see anything that or it's curated in a way that it is one-sided. You only get to see what this man does for this woman and not what this woman does to contribute to the household, the ways in which that she is supportive to him and nurturing and encouraging him in order for him to want to give her gifts that are this extreme and lavish.
Yeah, but I think that I agree with you. And I think that speaks more in the sense of just like how the human mind works. Like we work on extremes. Like we are only entertained by either extreme toxicity and drama or like extreme like goodness. So we either want to see the 25 car pileup crash, or we want to see like Mother Teresa going out of her way to spread good and do good. Like the middle ground is boring. So if you want to get those millions of views and subscribers, you got to be on one side. It's easier to do the toxic shit. It's mad easy to build that up, and you get 1 million people like easy. To do the good shit, it requires more work, but you can still get that. It requires more work. But the middle ground, the regular shit that you and I, most people, the 80% go through every day. That's regular. Like every day, I don't need to see that shit. It's boring, and that's why I think that's why social media is so polarized, and people that's trying to do like regular, real, truth content, while it speaks to people, like people can tell, like, oh, like it hits hard and people like it. It's not enough of that content out here for it to be like anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like those content creators who speak, talking facts and truths and things of that nature, they have a very, very niche, not clientele, audience, as opposed to the Kevin Samuels and the Real Housewives.
True. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Remember when we first met and I was like, I feel like you need to clean up your feed. Your stuff is not balanced.
My feed?
Not your feet. FEED.
That's what I say. My feed?
Oh yeah.
My feed? What feed?
Your Instagram feed and your YouTube feed.
Oh yeah. You're talking about what I was watching and curious. Yeah.
And because it will feed you more of the same, so you have an opportunity to be in a vacuum. Like you say you're interested in this, it's going to continue to show this, and so. But
sometimes that YouTube algorithm, it be jumping the gun. It be like I could be watching straight like workout videos, fitness, diet, and I watch one Kevin Samuels video and suddenly a year of fitness videos disappears from my feed and all I see is straight toxic, like wild shit. I'm like, my guy, I just watched one video, like yeah. But I agree with you. That's true.
Yeah. You have to find a way to make things a little bit more balanced, and it does take more work to find balanced content. You also want to see the things that you want for yourself. So follow pages that represent the type of love that you want in your life, especially if you're in the search for romantic love, or that support the type of mindset that you want to have. And so,
yes, you got to support it so more people can see it. And, the more people that support it, the less likely the people who are in the middle are going to feel like I have to do some wild shit in order to expand my audience and get successful. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are on some like, I'm just going to do this shit as a gimmick in order to get put on. And then once I do that, I can go ahead and do what I want. I think we've heard it a lot, growing up, a lot of artists, they feel at first, they feel like they got to do what they got to do to get on, and then once they get on, they can be them. Like I guess one of the best examples I heard was like the Baby. When he first started putting on, that motherfucker was literally dressing like a baby.
Oh yeah,
you haven't seen that motherfucker do that since he got put on, for real. So, but I think a lot of people do it with in their mind is like, once I get on, I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna give them to keep it 100. Then they get trapped doing the gimmicky shit, and then that's where they at. And now they got to maintain that shit forever, and then it's not a good longevity model. It's good for a sprint. If you're trying to make a lot of money real quick, I guess go ahead and do that, but repercussions and things. But if you build slowly, I guess, start slow and steady, you know what I mean, you can keep control and artistic integrity, so to speak. That's about, I don't know. Did we go on a tangent?
I think so. It was a rather long tangent, though.
It was, but it was good.
It was.
But we stick in the script. We've been tangenting since tangenting been tangenting.
Who?
We be going on tangents all the time. That's because we go on video don't mean we gonna switch it up.
Right. You're right, babe. We said we're gonna be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Real.
Mm-hmm. So how you feel? You got anything else you want to speak on?
No, not as it relates to this.
All right, yeah, I'm good on that topic.
What you got next?
I ain't got nothing else. I'm good. That's
So,
how we done. Or we gonna wrap it up?
We're gonna do final food for thought.
Yeah, final food for thought. All right, so final food for thought, for me will be just to, I guess, remain cognizant and aware. I feel like that was a redundant statement. Just maintain awareness of just what it is that you want to get out of social media generally, and relationships specifically. Irregardless of what you see on your feed, and what is it that you realistically, what do you want from your partner? Like, what kind of relationship do you want to cultivate with your partner? What do you want to, what kind of life that you want to have, and then build your expectations and requirements, I guess, off of that, as opposed to what you think is popping and what you see out there. Because, you might see some shit that 3 minutes ago you ain't give a shit about, and you saw it on TV, and suddenly it's like, damn, if my man can't or my woman can't do this, then I don't want them. So, but you get into that relationship and you realize the thing that you thought you wanted don't really fucking matter, and then you unhappy, not knowing why, and you realize that because you wasn't making any determining classification. No, I'm just going off.
Yeah.
You were not searching for the things that really mattered to you. Like you weren't looking for that in your partner, and now you're without that, and now you're unhappy, and you don't know why. But you know why.
You always know why.
You know why.
Deep down.
9 times out of 10 is you. It's a you issue than it is a them issue, because generally people show you who they are, and a lot of times it's just you ignored it or thought that it's going to change, or didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and it was like, nigga, it was.
My final food for thought is to nurture yourself. Do the work to, much like what Brandon said, of like figure out what you want. Like, surround yourself with images, mindsets, people that reflect what you want for yourself and what you want for your relationship. I think that there's danger in being a vacuum in your relationship as well. Like, if it's only you and that other person, that can also be a danger to y'all, because you won't have community. You won't have people that you can share with and will be able to give you thoughtful advice and be able to give reflect back to you what they see or have experienced within themselves, and you'll be able to trust it. If the only place that you can go for advice is your mama and she ain't got no good relationship, or the only place that you can go for advice is your homegirls and they don't have a good relationship, start to think about how you can build a community around yourself of people who are in relationships that you respect, because it's harder to be what you can't see. So try to find the people who look like what you want your relationship to look like, and don't let that come solely from social media, because again, it's curated.
Facts. Highlight reels. All right, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to our first video
of
the buffet. Feel free to listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, all that good stuff. Also, you're gonna see us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe and that like button. And if you listen to it, do the subscribe and like button as well. Stop playing. Let's get these numbers up.
You can check us out every Monday. We will drop every Monday. If anything changes, we will let y'all know on Instagram. So please make sure to follow us at The Buffet Pod. All one word. Thank you for listening, learning, and laughing with us. This has been The Buffet, where we give you endless food for thought.
We out.